all these pastors that took a stand. I'm so thankful that they
Mhm.
did.
Yeah, Pastor
Yes.
Rob McCoy,
Yes.
up a little bit north of us, and so people respect law and order, or let's just say not everybody does. We know that.
Right.
We see that all the time. But what they want it to be consistent. They want it to be
Fair and just.
fair and just,
Yes.
and I'll use the left term. They want it to be equitable. No special groups that
That's right.
just because you say you have one a hyphen in your last name, you don't get to do a rolling stop through a stop sign as a penance for being persecuted by
Right.
white people. But so that's why it's really important. Those that are in a position to administer and adhere the justice is really important. So we're very fortunate indeed to have an individual who has dedicated, almost quite a bit of his life to being of service to the people of the county of Los Angeles. So welcome, retired Captain Mike Borman.
Thank you. I always thought I was busy. You're busier than I've ever been.
Well, it's the election right now is set for, I think, the first week in June. That could change very easily, and we're going to see that, and that's having to deal with the redistricting and the special election. But we'll deal with that when that comes. But right now, you're in a campaign for to be the next sheriff of Los Angeles County. But Mike, before we get to your platform and your issues there, let's discuss a little bit with our listeners. A little bit about who is Mike Borman, and where were you born?
Well, I'm an LA kid, lived in LA all my life. Grew up mostly in northern San Fernando Valley, Silmar, Pacoima, San Fernando.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
that's our hood.
I'll tell you what, I spent about 5 years of my life in the projects in San Fernando Gardens,
Oh,
which
interesting.
was actually in Pacoima, but they
Right
call
over
it-
there on Norris and
Pierce.
Yeah,
Wow.
Norris and
I
Pierce.
lived right at
Van
the
Nuys
corner
Boulevard.
there. Yep.
Yeah, there is an incredible elementary school there that right there on Norris. I think is it Pacoima Elementary? I'm not sure,
That's
but
my alma mater. That's where I graduated,
All right.
Pacoima Elementary.
well,
Wow.
you would be happy to know that and this was a couple of years ago when I met her. The new principal was a former Marine, and she went in there. Sorry, with our Army friend back there, but she was a former Marine, and what she did to that school was incredible. I mean, because our listeners don't know, but and we know, on both sides of the school is that you have the projects, and one would think that because of the poverty, because it's all people of color, that it would be one of the worst performing, and it's one of the best performing schools within LAUSD. So you come from a very great area. So you probably I don't know how old you are, but when I was 14, I learned to water ski at Hanson Dam. And that's when, when people talk about Lakeview Terrace, I go, you know why they call it Lakeview Terrace? There used to be a lake.
Yes.
And so you grew up in the Northeast San Fernando Valley.
Now,
Mike?
what junior high and high school did you go to? I'm just
Well,
curious.
We finally moved out of San Fernando Gardens and we went to Silmar. And I graduated from Ala Vista Junior High. And then I went to Silmar High. We moved around a lot. I ended up going to El Paso, Texas for 3 months. And then came back and I graduated from William S. Hart High School up in
Oh,
Newhall.
okay. Yeah.
Been around.
Can I ask you, why did you move around so much? I'm just curious.
Single parent home. She had a hard time financing 4 kids.
Okay.
And she worked 2 jobs. We never saw her. I was probably a latchkey kid even back then when there weren't latchkey kids.
Yeah, some of those people don't, our listeners might not remember, but, there are some of the latchkey kids, at that time. Remember when we had to get up to go change the television channel?
Oh, yes. That was a lot of work.
That was before the Zenith came out with a push-button remote control.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I probably moved a couple of dozen times
Okay.
when I was a kid.
And so what happened after high school?
Well, after high school, I was actually a senior in high school walking on the quad, and I was asking myself, well, I'm going to be out of school pretty quick. What do I want to do? And, based on my upbringing and my strong belief in right and wrong and protecting people and taking care of people, I decided I was going to be a cop, and I decided I wanted to be with the sheriff's department. So I went. I got an AA degree in police science from College of the Canyons.
Right.
Then I got a bachelor's in English from Cal State Northridge. I got a master's degree in organizational leadership. I'm certified in emergency operations management from Texas A&M University. And then I'm also certified in executive development from Cornell University.
Wow.
So I took all of that, went into the department, had a great career, 36 years. I'll tell you what, I saw and did just about everything on that department.
Wow.
I know it inside out. I know it like the back of my hand.
And so how long, you're retired now, and how long have you been retired?
I've been retired about 8.5 years.
Okay.
But I will say, I have not turned my back on my brothers and sisters. I've been watching in horror over the last few years at what's been going on with the degrading of the department. What I see is a race to the bottom, you know, with the issues of morale and not being able to keep people safe, the crumbling infrastructure. It's funny, I just decided one day, you know what, I'm going to do it. And the scariest thing I had to do after that decision was to ask my wife if it was okay.
Well, it was that happy wife, happy life, and not unhappy wife. It's going to be a problem.
Exactly so. Yeah, but she, you know, I told her, and she came up, she hugged me, and she looked at me, looked up at me with those brown eyes and that squeaky little voice, and she said, "Are you crazy?
Well,
Have you lost your mind?"
I think many people look at people that run for office. I mean, because you're really putting yourself in the breach, and the arrows and all of the things that you have to deal with, and even from people within your own party.
Yes.
Although the sheriff's race is a nonpartisan race,
Right.
and you would be the sheriff of, regardless if you're a Green Party, Republican, Democrat, peace and freedom, or no party preference. It's all the same. I mean, that's if you're residing in one of the 88 cities in LA County, that would be, your jurisdiction. And I don't think people realize just how big LA County is.
Yeah, I mean, they don't realize also that in incorporated city, you still vote for sheriff.
Right.
A lot of folks I know are like, "Oh no, I'm in Redondo." No, you vote for
Yeah.
sheriff. So yeah, it's huge. But fortunately, I've been around long enough that I've traversed the entire county a few times, and I know
Right.
what to expect out of it.
Right. Now, was there any one particular incident that happened that made you say, "This is it, I need to get back in this, I need to do something"? Or was it just an overall accumulation of so many things?
There were a lot of things, but I keep in touch with a lot of people, younger kids on the department. I can call them kids because I'm older than they are.
Yeah.
And I've just seen what they've been going through, and the crushing overtime. I think what's
Right.
done it.
Yeah.
It is soul sucking. These kids. We expect them to keep us safe. Well, we're not keeping them safe.
No, I mean, the
Right.
suicide rate is out of control.
It's the national record of 13 at this point that I'm aware of,
Wow.
and that's a record you don't want to have anything to do with.
Right.
But they're expected to put in double shifts, and now they're working triple double shifts, 16/8, 16/8, 16. Right?
Right.
Right.
How do you stay conscious and aware?
Right.
You know-
So what would you do? What would you do to change it?
Oh man, I've got a list of stuff that I would do. I think the first thing is to let everybody on the department know that literally there is a new sheriff in town, and I love every one of them. I'm going to take care of every one of them. And what you have to do is you have to stop the bleeding, right? I mean, the department can't recruit, hire, train, and retain enough people to even keep up with annual attrition rates.
Right.
So let's say the department is lucky enough to hire 400 people. Well, if you lose 450 during attrition, what are you looking at,
Yeah.
right? And it's gotten to the point where people simply do not want to be in law enforcement. But there's an additional thing taking place now is they don't want to work for this administration. I think the current administration has lost the faith and trust of the personnel, and that is something you don't get back easily, if at all. And I know how to lead. I know how to take care of the troops. I think that I can cut down on the attrition rate pretty quickly because there are a lot of people who are retiring early that won't retire early. I guarantee you that. There are people who are off IOD or injured on duty.
Right.
They'll come back.
Right.
There are people that are throwing their hands up and saying, I'm not doing law enforcement anymore. I cut down on that too. And, a big part of that is doing what? Working with the Board of Supervisors. You have to do that. And I can't guarantee that I'm going to be happy with everything they say and do,
Right.
but I will go into every meeting with an open mind and an open heart because in spite of what's going on, I really think that in their minds, they are doing what they think is best for the County of Los Angeles. And I do what is best for the county and for the LA County Sheriff's Department. So if I keep that in mind going in, I think things will work out fine.
Now, one of the things, speaking of the Board of Supervisors, I know that they had in the works to build a new men's central jail, and spent, millions of dollars on development, and then decided, what, we don't believe in incarceration, and killed an $80 million project. And as a result, the overcrowding, they keep pointing to that, the jail is unsafe, it's inhumane, yet they won't do anything to replace it. How, I know it still isn't at capacity yet, but it could very well be. And so what do you do with the new individuals coming in?
Well, I mean, back when I joined the department in 1850, the central jail was old then. And I do believe it's a derelict facility. It's that old linear style jail where there's no direct supervision. You can't see down the rows. I do believe it needs to be replaced, but you don't replace it without a replacement, right?
Right.
You don't
Right.
you don't dump it. They're going to have to come to reality here pretty quickly. We have two closed facilities. East Facility and Mira Loma are closed. I'd like to see more inmate programming taking place there. But, you talk about numbers. I think there's like 13,000 or less right now. When I first got there were 22,000 people in jail.
Wow.
We were stacking them up, and that is no way to treat a human being, And
Right.
finally, it got reduced. But there are things that you can do. You can move people around. But I think the first thing I do is probably tear down the old side of the jail. There's the old side and the new side of Central Jail. Tear down the old side, rehouse the inmates that you need to there, and build a new side, and make it a treatment facility. There was a lot
Right.
that went into the decision to torpedo that. If you remember back in the day, there was some negative stuff going back and forth between some people, and they just ended up saying, forget it.
Right.
I do know that the county has just committed to reopening a portion of Metro State Mental Hospital, right?
Right.
Great step in the right direction, because homelessness and mental illness isn't a crime, and the LA County Sheriff's Department should have no part of that. So it would be nice to have a facility that they can build upon and start getting people out that way.
Right.
But you know what? We need after custody care facilities in the neighborhoods, and start working with some of the CBOs out there that are more than willing. They're chomping at the bit, but there doesn't seem to be any movement forward in that regard.
Right.
And I'm just going to jump out and say I don't see any movement forward with the LA County Sheriff's Department. I don't think it's being led right now. I think someone's trying to manage, and they're not managing well.
Right.
I mean, a leader is going to take that organization and pull it forward into the future, get their people to believe that they, to be the best professionals they can be. There's none of that going on. These kids are hanging on by a thread right now.
Right.
Right.
They
So-
feel like they're being ignored,
Right.
not supported, and there's a lot of evidence to point to that.
Right.
Now, what people don't realize, okay, so you have Men's Central Jail, but you also have the Twin Towers. And the Twin Towers, I think, isn't that more for individuals that have more mental problems, or what's the difference between the two?
It was built as a medium to high facility, so it can be used for regular inmate population. But Medical Services Bureau is right there in the towers as well, and they've started putting a lot of the mentally ill in there. And the mentally ill population is 40+% of the population of the jail.
Wow.
That's why something needs to be done there, obviously, right?
Sounds like they need their own facility for sure, separate, because it's a different type of thing that you're dealing with. One is just straight crime, and the other one is some of it may be crime, because of the mental illness, but it just sounds like there needs to be totally different facilities. But now, if you were to, win this and become sheriff, what would be your 3 priorities?
Community, safety, and security. Taking care of our employees to make sure that they're healthy and well so they can take care of the security of the county of Los Angeles. And I would probably go with fiscal responsibility and accountability. One of the first things I'd do would be a absolute 100% forensic audit of every dime spent by the Sheriff's Department. Not just how much, but where and why. I guarantee you there are things in that budget that have probably been sitting there for 5, 10 years that make no sense anymore.
Right,
And I guarantee you there are things that need to be in there that aren't.
right.
If you want me to go into it, it's the three
minutes.
it's a 3-part.
All right, we have 2 minutes left, but go.
Oh, okay. After I find out where it's being sent, how much and why, I'd get my folks together. We would go through and do a line item to see what needs to stay and what needs to go. And once I understand exactly what we're talking about, I would take all that to the Board of Supervisors. I've been told there's a structural deficit that's built in every year. I don't even know if that's true. I don't think anybody knows if it's true.
Right.
So I would go through and make sure that that was done and start working with the board on it. But yeah, CJ's got to go,
Right.
but it needs to be replaced first.
Right. So, Mike, how can people support your campaign, get involved, volunteer, contribute?
All they need to do is go to CaptainMikeBornman.com, and they'll learn a whole lot about me
1 minute.
and my bringing up. And most importantly, the lifeblood of any campaign is donations, right? Funding, so you can get your message out. So I'd appreciate it if anybody is willing and able that they consider donating to my campaign.
All right. That's Captain Mike, and Borman is BORNMAN.com, CaptainMikeBorman.com. Mike, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
All right. Marianne, there goes the first half hour. Look at that.
There it
Just
goes.
just like that.
Yes.
We won't call you Latinx.
Thank you. That's
All right,
kind
folks,
of
we'll
you.
be right back. You listen to the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club show. That was retired Captain Mike